Ulavanaka, Kirana, Kiora, Talofalava. Welcome everybody to our first episode, Tokos Talks. My name is Samuela Alatini, Paya Imano Fifita, known as the Tongan Prince. Let's go to my right.
What's up, everybody? Welcome. My name's Dion Tupou from Golowai, Tongatapu, and also known as Toops. Welcome to Tokos Talk.
Yo, and I'm Vakabuna Matiaki Alatini, hailing from Hawaii Islands, Talanoa and mafana. City slicker.
Welcome, everybody. Our first episode, we're just going to kick it off. It's going to be ups and downs, ins and outs, up, round and rounds, back to front. Just want to welcome our first guest to our show, Samuela Alatini.
Welcome.
Good to be here, boys.
Just a bit of a context or what we're about or what our sort of vision is. Just sort of three Tokos want to have a chat, want to have a laugh, balo some kava, get a numb tongue and enjoy the ride pretty much.
Especially for the next couple of hours.
Yeah.
Oh, we on.
Oh, Sola.
Anyways, for myself, I'd just like to my sort of background and what I've done. So I was born and raised in Hamilton, New Zealand. Tongan parents. My dad's from Motu. My mum's from Kolomotua. Just come over here to Australia just to chase a dream. Better lifestyle than what we had back home. But other than that, just like that's all I got to say for the time being. But yeah, just trying to enjoy
Solid.
the life.
Yeah, you got a dry tongue, dog.
yeah.
What about you, Beans?
Born in Hawaii, Honolulu, Oahu.
Oh, really?
Shout out to the Alohans out there.
Yeah, they're getting deported, aren't they?
So born in Hawaii, moved to New Zealand for a few years when I was younger, but then we moved to Canberra, where I did most of my growing up, schooling. Got into a little bit of a rough patch and got sent over to Adelaide, where I lived there for 3 years, and then Adelaide, and then came to beautiful Perth 2004 to come play rugby league, where I didn't even know they had rugby league over here. So yeah, just came over here and then had a couple of seasons, and then thought we'd give the footy a pass and just start working and try to get some money up, and that's what we did. So that's how we ended up in Perth and here now.
Oh,
Nice. For myself, I was born and raised South Auckland in New Zealand.
Dirty
South. Otahuhu. Also known as Oda Blue. Growing up South Auckland, everyone knew what South Auckland's about. It's a dangerous place. But for us, it was home, eh? It was everything.
Wasn't dangerous.
Wasn't dangerous at all,
But I feel it's changed heaps now, eh?
Yo.
Like, it's not as bad, nowhere near as bad as like back in the days, eh?
No, it was like even when I was still there, high school and Odu College, I was there for maybe third form and then half of fourth form before I left to go to Tonga. But those 2 years of college in New Zealand were pretty hectic, eh? Like just the gangs and it were evolving. They were heavy, eh?
Those were
Yeah.
Yourself, Sam?
Born in Golowai, so moved over to NZ when I was 9, going 10. So it was a big eye-opener for somebody that didn't know that there is other countries apart from Tonga. I always thought, I've seen planes fly by when we were young and in Golowai and thinking, man, where's that landing? and when we heard we were going to NZ, to New Zealand, and it was like, they must be up in the clouds somewhere. This is how we were thinking at the time. We were very young, didn't know anything, we were still running around. There's horses and cars, hardly any cars back in Tonga, and what you did for fun was very different. Kites was always number one.
Marbles.
Yeah, you just play marbles after school until you get somebody shouts at you.
We used to throw rocks at the Beckers.
Oh yes, the Beckers, Skolovai back then there was.
That's why there's none there
There's
anymore.
none there now. They're all
We get in
scared. I
trouble,
think
man. We used to get in trouble, like, because when I went back to school there, like
they were protected.
They were
species.
protected in our village, you know. Everyone, oh yeah, Kolovai, the home of the Becker, you know. Like, for those that don't know what a Becker is, it's the bat, you know, the fruit
fruit
bat.
bat,
And they were all in our village.
But even back then, the only time you were allowed, well, when hurricane season, when they get blown off, but they were protected species. But there's none there now.
Tokos, did you ever eat one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was
We were young.
So we really know where the COVID really came from.
Hey, China's got nothing on Kolovai.
But back in those days, you eat anything, you know.
Yeah.
If you're hungry, then
They smell when
They-
you cook it. Man, it stinks. It
it does.
It
smell.
stinks.
Yeah, it does.
It stinks, Doc.
But anyway, Sam.
Anyway, so moved over to New Zealand, 82. East Tamaki, south side, Otara. Grew up there. Grew up. That's where I grew up most of my teenage years. Then got sent back to Tonga, obviously for not being good.
Yeah, I think we've all been through that. We've all been through that.
We had to go teach English in Tonga.
And there was always a, they get threatened. Oh, you're going to send you back to talanoa. It's like, oh, what's talanoa? Like, you didn't know anything about it until we went back. So, I went back to Tonga in 86, 87, then came back to NZ. Did my schooling there at talanoa for a year and a bit.
Yep.
Back to NZ, 87. Went to Aulete College for a few years.
Oh, true.
AO. So, and then got picked up by King's College of all schools.
Yeah.
That was just a fluke, I think. My brother was already there. There was a family that was sort of helped us out a little bit with the schooling, and we didn't even know what King's and where King's was. Middle of Otahu, of all places.
At the back of our school.
Yeah, at the back of Otahu College. But, so it's a funny story though, because Pete, my younger brother, went to my dad and said, his family wants to send me to King's. And my dad turned around, I've been a freshie fob, like, turned around, that again, I did, he was in his head, he had to pay, like, it's expensive, right?
Yeah.
And he had to pay, and then Pete explained to him and said, no, the family's going to pay for it. And it's like, okay. So I went there for a couple of years, but sort of rough patches here and there as you do go through life. Rugby is always number one. The old man played for Tonga for many years, and so we
Dream Team 73.
that was our go-to sport. Everything was rugby. So I did make the New Zealand secondary schools in '91.
Who was part of that team?
So there's a few All Blacks that came out of that team. Charles Reicherman. He was our captain. Todd Miller.
He's Tongan, eh?
He's
Charles.
Tongan. His dad is German. His mum's Tongan.
Todd Miller, did you say?
Todd Miller.
From
Miller.
Waikato.
From Waikato.
Yeah.
He's originally from up north. But he's obviously he's Mormon.
Yeah.
He ended up at Church College down there.
Yeah, we played together at Hutapu.
Yeah, so he's been down there. Yeah. So he was a fullback back in those days. In my year.
Yeah.
So Jeff Wilson.
Oh, true.
Yeah, that was his first year. He was very young, very talented.
Yeah. Multi-sports.
yeah,
Follow
cricket,
multis. Yeah, hard.
Old Goldie.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so, and funny story about him in secondary schools, we rocked up, and Charles and them and Dylan Mika and that, they're into their basketball.
Yeah.
So we went into the gym, and he comes out, the old Goldie, blonde hair, long, those old, their haircuts and it's like long flow, and then they're looking at each other, like all the island was going, look at this fella. What is he? Look, he doesn't even look at it. Then they played basketball. He is a good basketball player.
Really? Wow.
He ripped him out. Oh! So, off the bat, he's always been talented. Adrian Cashmore.
Oh, yep.
So, Adrian was actually reserve.
Really?
Yeah, and now here anyway. So Dylan Mika.
Yep.
He's another one. There's so many. You know, it's funny because we had my photo up on the wall at home, and visitors will come. Oh, look, look. Then my old man would go, shut. Because I was right in the front. And he's like, yeah, that fella's still there. So there's quite was a good team, that 91 team. So we only played one test.
Yeah.
And that was in Napier. We won that one, but
Who was that against?
Australia. We always every year they have an Australian test, but every second year they have a tour. So it's just the luck of the draw that you either in the year you're in there or you're not. So it just happened that we weren't touring side. So after that, so I'm like for Kings, nobody had made the secondary schools for like I think Fitzpatrick or Kirkpatrick was the last one.
Oh really? Oh,
back in the 80s and that for a long time. So I was the first one since. Yeah. And ever since then, I always remind them they've had one after that. So that's,
I feel that big gap. That big gap. I feel
that's I think my only claim to fame anyway in that school. So we actually sort of started something there because from memory you could they call it the Great Hall. It's and then do assemblies, and you can actually sit there, and if you look back at the crowd, you can count how many darkies were there. So in one hand. Not very many Islanders, and any of us that went there was all scholarship or royalty. We had the Kalavi New Valu boys over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were in our year, and all the obviously the King's nephews and stuff went through that school as well.
Sorry, Sam. So your dad, did he play in that Tongan team that beat Australia back?
Yes. So my old man's he came over. So the first tour he was involved with, this is just through hearsay and through his stories to us as kids.
Yeah.
So he came over the first tour. His first tour was 1969.
Money.
With the with the Tongan side. So he toured, and he only just left school. So what he used to, from what I gather from his stories, so he was in talanoa. So when the Fridays he'll come home and play for Kolovai. So that was in the seconds and gradually played in the first. So he was playing against legends, Tongan legends at the time. Samuela Alatini and all those big names back then, icons of the game. It's the equivalent of what's happening today with all the players around, the Richie McCaws and the like, and the ABs and John Eels and the like. So he went over as a reserve, 19-year-old, and he came back as a starting 10. So the 69, and then obviously all those years, I think his last year was 78, but he did play in that 1973 that we still talk about. Even today we're still talking about them. They celebrated 50 years. And
how many of them are left? There's only like two.
There's not many. There's not
really?
many.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's only the old man still stumbling around here. So, and I'm not sure who the other few that are left. There's very, very few left. But the story that we he tells back in those days, it's just it's great.
But where did they play that game?
Ballymore.
Oh, really? In Queensland?
So it was all. I think they had 2 tests. So they lost the first one in Sydney, and they won the second one.
Wow, that's awesome, man. No, that's like celebrating what Tonga did in the league. Those are the two sort of epic and Tongan sport,
I think until the Tongan Union anyway beat the All Blacks, or someone to do that equivalent.
When they done France in the World Cup, remember that?
Yeah, that's right.
But you still talk about the 73. It's still number one. Like even those guys that are still, when they were around in those days. But
But I think the impact of that is the same now with the impact in the league with our Tonga beat the Kiwis, they beat Great Britain, and then they beat the Aussies. And I think the Tongan people just follow where we're excelling at, don't they? Like
Yeah.
they're the biggest supporters of
Yeah.
like anything that we do.
You could have the best Tongan table
Yeah.
tennis player, and
Yeah.
you're full of sleep.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
Yeah,
you look
yeah.
at what's happening with the women's netball.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mate,
that's
yeah.
right. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I
Hard.
think anything that were good,
Mm.
they'll jump on the bandwagon
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just support it to the
Yeah.
core. They're diehards.
But it's across the like across the board for all like Polynesians now. Like it's growing.
It is.
Everyone
it
else
is.
can see that our nations are growing and they're getting stronger and fitter, faster. And
But that's like not just for that. That's the Polynesians are starting to come up in everything. Like not only footy, netball, and now like all the combat sports, boxing.
Yep.
UFC, MMA, and stuff like that. Man, it's just the Polynesians are starting to get their name out there.
What about you, Sola? What about you?
About me in general. Or?
Bro, we grew up in a religious family.
Yes,
Yep.
my mum and dad was church, Christian, West Yana.
Yeah.
So my dad was he was a league player, but he was like he used to beat us up a lot, bro. It was like, for
That's-
no reason, like little things.
But
eh.
that's quite normal, isn't it?
Yeah, back in those days it was normal.
You
you
go
know?
to prison nowadays.
Yeah.
I remember I was up at we were doing whakamea like ako sahabate,
Yeah.
and then we had this practice round, bro, mucking around, bro. Next minute, my mum comes over with the stiletto,
Oh,
bang, oh, hospital.
Have you got a killer? Have you got a killer or not?
I got a tit up here.
Oh,
So
is
it
that
goes
why?
like this, it goes
Is that
like
why?
this.
Oh.
That's why I'm wearing a hat. But other than that,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
like growing up in Hamilton, we when,
many Tongans in Hamilton back in those days? Not really,
not
eh?
really.
Well,
Now
most of them was in
yeah,
Auckland.
yeah,
Yeah.
But now it's just
Oh, it's
packed,
they're
eh?
everywhere.
It's
Well, Hamilton's
everywhere.
almost connected to Auckland.
Yeah,
now.
it
it's
is,
just
yeah.
like it's like driving from where I stay all the way down to Rockingham.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how far
Yeah.
Hamilton is
Yeah.
to Auckland.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But yeah, growing up in Hamilton, like small town, small town, but like very sporty town, especially rugby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
White Cat Moolus, bro, ring the bell.
They're annoying, eh?
Bro, it's just like those salute stickers in Auckland, bro.
They were annoying, eh?
But yeah, like my background in sports and that, like grew up just playing. I played league first of all when I was about 5, and then I didn't start playing rugby till like last year of primary school, really.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy playing better?
If I had to go back, probably league.
Yeah.
League, but union was just more skill wise.
Oh, yeah, a
like
lot
just
of
taking
thinking, a lot more thinking
yeah,
and
just taking that,
everything.
going to union and just learning things, taking it to league. Oh, so much easier. Eh?
Yeah.
Good town and really enjoyed it. But yeah, come over to Perth. Actually, the only reason why I came over here because I had a coach coached me at high school, and he was coaching me at Hautapu, Paul King, and he said, "Oh, we need players to come over." So he come over.
Oh, so that's how you came
yeah,
over.
that's how I came over.
Ah.
2008.
Nice.
2008 came over.
I thought you Western Force Academy.
That's one of those other stories.
That's another story.
But yeah,
eh?
that year in, at Kalamunda when I first came over, because half of the boys were from Hautapu and we used to play together, so we were all, half of us came over and it just
And he's won the premiership
yeah,
the
that
first
was
year
the
you came in.
first and last. So
But
we
is it
had-
the last time?
Yeah, they've only won one, but that was the first. But then we had three teams in the first, second, and third, and 1 and 2 won. But man, it was.
Was there much Islanders in that Kalamunda team?
There was a few.
Yeah.
We had about three or four of us, but like some were most Māoris
Māoris,
as well
Yeah,
too. But man, rugby over here is just different compared to back in New Zealand.
Yeah.
eh?
It's growing the way.
Yeah, it
Rugby
is. It
growing
is.
over
It
here,
is.
rugby.
It is growing, which is good. But just force need to wake it up, bro. Need to wake it up, bro. Wow, man.
But it's hard, I guess, like, because they like get kicked out of the competition, come back into
Yeah.
the competition, and
Yeah.
Twiggy's throwing money at them, and then, I guess, man, it's hard to like just see where they're at and where they can build and grow.
Yeah, I think it's more just like grassroots, bro. That's the
Yeah,
problem. They just try
100%.
to I know, like, they
100%.
always just try to find a quick fix, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But really,
They're
it
still
takes
doing it.
time. Exactly.
They're still
Developing
doing it.
what-
Bro, there's a lot of talent in WA, bro. A
Yep.
lot, and that's the problem. We just don't want to look around or study. Go have scouts look, because man, you get a lot of
Yeah.
young boys.
I totally agree.
That
Yeah.
are good players, man. They give them an opportunity.
Yeah.
You never know what you can get out of them, you know.
Bro, this
Yeah.
is a strong mix, eh?
Bro, who mixed the kava, G? Someone must
Sorry.
have getting in
Sorry,
today, bro.
This is a strong mix. Don't-
Shut up, Jenny,
my
like,
tongue's
Someone else.
My tongue's already numb.
I'm not gonna last, eh? First episode though, eh?
yeah.
Yeah, first episode, good
Yeah,
vibes, man.
yeah,
Like,
it is.
Yeah.
hey, there is a little segment that we've got. It's called the Coconut Confession. So, the whole point of this is open a coconut, tip the juice out. Just something that you can confess to that you're just going, oh, the juice is gone.
No judgment pass.
Safe place, is it?
Safe place.
We listen and we
That's
don't
right.
judge. Who's going first? We'll let our guests go first.
Yeah,
if we
Sam,
want.
give us something. Give us something. Tip the
Something
juice out.
juicy.
Tip the juice out of that coconut, dogs.
Tip it out.
I wasn't
Think
prepared
about
for this one. I
Oh,
thought it
putting
was.
you on the spot, bro.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
I've been an angel pretty much my whole life.
Yeah, I'm far from that. But I like saying stuff like just no filter.
Yeah, yeah.
Just say it out. But sometimes I say it out loud and and people like look at me going, did he just say that?
They see the juice.
Yeah, no, they see the juice straight away and they go the other way. But I'm thinking back, I've always been different than my siblings. The way I look at it now, I understand. I didn't understand it before, but as I got older, as I look back and reflect on where I've landed and how I got here, my journey, I understand it a lot more better now. I think because I was brought up with my grandmother and granddad, and we had a godmother to speak. So it was my great grandmother's sister. She was blind. She was blind since she was 12. So this is off a Tongan curse. You guys, and it's real. It's like so the family from what I gather, it could be, I don't know how true it is, but what I've been told, because this is like history has been passed down through the years. We don't have written, it's always I listen to. That's why I like going around old like whai kava and all that. It's like you listen to stories and that's how you learn stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, I guess that's my godmother, as to speak. So she was blind since 12, and she brought up my dad and all his siblings, all 12, 13 of them, and like my siblings
family.
to start off, big family. So that's all I knew, and she pushiaki me, like she brought me up pretty much. So that's all I knew. She was my mum, so to speak.
Did she bring up all of your siblings, or it was just you?
So it was me and Tony that was left behind. So the old man, so they went over to New Zealand first. Him and Peter, the youngest at the time, he was only, I don't know, just 1 or 2. So the old man he was in the police force, and at the time he said he was going for a holiday with mum, and he said to the police commissioner, said if he doesn't come back, he's going to look for opportunities to stay in New Zealand, whatever that means. At the time, that's basically been an overstayer. So,
I get a lot of that.
So-
I get a lot of
I think
that.
a lot of listeners,
Yep,
if they
standard.
do listen in, they will
They're
understand.
hiding
how
at the
that-
moment. They're going, oh, they're hiding.
They're exposing us. They're exposing us.
Relax, relax. We won't
I was like-
expose you.
I think it was Dawn Raids at the time.
yeah, there was
so-
ones up in Ponsonby, eh?
Yes. So he was just looking at for us. He had 4 boys, and there was no, like at the time, there's no jobs unless you work for the government, and you had money, but there was no going forward. There was no jobs for us growing up. So he thought New Zealand would be a good place for us to grow up, and that's where. So he took off first with Mum and Peter, and then he sent. I don't know how long, but my older brother got sent with him as well. One of the family members took him over, and there was just me and Tony left until 1982. So all I knew as parents was my granddad and grandma and Akesa. So, and then that's the first time I really met them, my mum and dad, and it was like, oh, where have you guys been? Like thinking about it now, I think that's probably why I rebelled a little bit, because I didn't know I didn't know them as parents. Like all I knew was the other people in my life, and I guess it's still the same now. It's sort of like we're close, but I've sort of
Still got your distance.
very
Very. It's because that's what you're saying. Like that distance between you is always there.
Yeah.
It's always has been, and I've always, as soon as I could get away, I'd go. Like, when I left home and went up north for a few years. My first marriage broke down. I was up north. So, but my wife now, she's of a Māori background, and she's strong woman. She says what she wants to say, and she has a lot of opinion, but
she's got the best cooking.
I think she'd have
she doesn't filter anything. Like she just tells, and a lot of people don't like that, and she don't care. So,
But I feel like that's one thing that, like, if you have a partner like that, it's good for you. It's good for.
It's been good for me. Because I can understand. Like, we've been brought up. I think we can all relate to this, is to don't
keep
piss
your mouth
people
shut.
off,
Exactly.
or don't
That's
say
right.
anything,
Yo.
or keep your opinion to yourself. That's probably coming off like from churches, and and they don't like that. When you say something that they don't like, it's like, maybe it does. If it touches a nerve, then there's some truth in it. So
that's like there's truth.
there is, and it does. The truth hurts, and sometimes you say stuff that hurts them, but the problem is we make it our problem. It's actually not our problem. It's their problem. They're the one with the problem, not you saying it. So
they're drinking that juice. They're like, oh sweet. I want some of that negative energy. Just let the juice tip on the ground. It's all good, bro. Relax.
So I guess that's probably what I've sort of learned through the years, and I think a lot of that's got to do with my wife now, and it's not a bad thing. I think my family, siblings, and whatever they probably think that way, but everybody's got an opinion on something, good or bad, but that's not my problem.
No, that's good, Dogo. Thank you for that. It's a big share, especially a big confession. But hey, what do they say? If the shoe fits, you can wear it if you want.
That's right.
My confession is, so I went out, so this is like meeting my wife. So I met her one weekend.
Why has it all got to do with our wife?
just saying. Like, I met her at the Onyx bar. They used to have this bar. Onyx bar.
Onyx
anyways.
Cool. Punna's like, yep.
Anyways, she gave me a number, and I was like, you sure this is the right number? Yeah. Rang the number.
Nothing.
Second week went out, and this was Subi too. Subi, I don't know, was another bar. Anyways, I seen her, and I said, oh yeah, I'll grab your number. Next minute, rang the number the next day. Oh, wrong number again. And then third week. This was 3 weeks in a row, bro.
What a determined guy.
Chasing. Bro, and then the third week, we met at the Sapphire. Sapphire. Got her number. I said, oh yeah, sweet. So I made sure, hey, give me your number. So I dialed it, called it. And, oh, sweet. And then a couple of days later, she come over home where I used to stay down in Maidavale. But yeah, that was my little confession, bro. Like, little confession.
Never give up.
Never
give up,
be
eh?
persistent. You
Never
gotta
give
be
up.
persistent,
That's
man.
the one, man. That's the one.
That's persistent.
Yeah.
What have you got for us, Stocks?
Probably one of mine is probably when I first, if we're going off wives, meeting wives. So I met my wife at
Bro, we're gonna get shut down by our
Yeah.
wives.
I met my wife at
Straight away.
my cousin's wedding in Sydney, and I remember seeing her and I was like, oh, damn. And then I seen her at the ceremony and I was like, oh, she's quite pretty. And then later on,
Pretty wasn't going through your head there.
pretty was. And then it was funny. my mum was sitting on the same table as her mum at the wedding, the reception, and then my mum called me over and she was like, "Oh yeah, this is my son. He's come from Perth." And then her mum was like, "Oh okay, yeah, my daughter's here too." And then she was looking for a daughter, and then she seen her. She called the daughter over, and I was seeing the one that I was looking at before, and I was like, "Oh man!" And then the daughter came over, and it was Melly, and then she was like, "Oh," and then she goes, "This is my daughter." And then we met, and then I was like, "Oh, do you want to get to the bar?" And then we went to the bar, and because we were up at the Shangri-La, I think it was in Sydney, up the top there, and it like overlooks all of Sydney. And then we just sat down, ordered the drinks, then sat down. And the first word I was like, "Oh, isn't it such a beautiful view out there?"
But you weren't talking about the view, were you? You were talking about
No, then I was like spinning like stories. I was like, I'll go, "Oh yeah, I play for that's when the
old Cupid.
no, that's when the
JR
that's when the Perth, the Western Pirates were in the New South Wales club.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, I play for the Perth Pirates. I'll do more trips down Sydney so I come." But I was still just playing for Rockingham Sharks, bro. Still local league, eh? And I was like, yeah. So whenever we come to Sydney, I'll come see you. And I was thinking, nah, I'll never probably see her again after tonight. And she was like, still a good girl back then, you know. And then she was like, "Oh, yep. Got a number." And then, then I went back to my hotel. She went home and went back to my hotel, and I rang her and I was like, "Yeah, I'll probably be coming back here in about 3 weeks for one of the games. So I'll let you know anyway, coming close to the dates." Next minute, she's like, must have forgot. Yeah, then I said, we were talking, and then I was like, "Yeah, I'll come over in the next month or something." And then she was like, "Oh, you come play footy?" And I was like, "Oh, nah, just got to come over. Gonna come see my cousin off. She's gonna come catch up with her." Next minute came, cousin picked me up. We went to the house, and I didn't go go meet the mum. So the mum was at the shops or something. So I went there, just grabbed her, and we went to my cousin's footy game. He was playing for Gordon, and we just went and watched. And then like later on, we went dinner. Then when I was dropping off, I was like, "Oh, come meet your mum now." And then went to the front door. Went to the front door to meet the mum. Mum opened the door. "Miss, get inside." She went inside, and I went to go say hi. She just went boom, slammed the door in front of my face. And I went,
That's because you didn't go to play footy, dog.
Right. And then I just went, "Oh, all right." And I went back in the car. My cousin was like, "What happened? What happened?" I was like, "The mum just slammed the door in my face." And he goes, "You idiot. See, you should have waited until the mum was home and then told her, and then you could have taken her." And I was like, "Yeah, all right." Next day, she's like, "Oh, yeah, I don't think it's going to work. My mum doesn't like you, so I don't think it's going to work." And I went, "All right, sweet as." And then, caught it off, went back, flew back to Perth, heartbroken, and then she ended up going out with an NRL player, and I was like, "Oh, she caught a real catch this time." And then, bro, 10 years later, she liked one of my videos on Facebook, and that was it, man. I was like, "Oh, I haven't heard from her in years," and
Hey, Marty.
messages her up, and the rest is history.
That's a big
nice.
gap.
That's nice.
Oh,
nice.
it was a big gap. So
Damn.
persistent pays, eh, Solar?
It does. It
Yep.
does. Persistent does pay, bro.
Yeah. So,
Was the same wedding?
what do you mean, like the wedding I met her?
Yeah, were they related to one of the you were
Yeah,
related
she was
obviously,
related to
the other
So
side.
she was
hopefully.
related to. She was related.
That's what I'm trying to get. You know the Islanders.
I was related to the groom,
And she
and
was
she was related.
to
No, the bride was a Balangi girl,
yeah.
Oh,
and
Her friend.
because my cousin used to live with George Smith, and then Melly's related to George Smith,
Oh, okay.
Oh,
and then that's how they knew each other. Yeah,
Oh, lucky,
Mele,
mate.
can we get George on here, please?
yeah.
Please, bro.
Nah,
So,
that's
yeah.
good, dogs. That's awesome.